Hey, welcome into another episode of the Seahawkers Show with your host, Todd Fox. That is me. This is a huge game, and I know it's a cliche. Every game is huge in the NFL. We go from week one all the way through, and every game's, four quarters, every play matters. All the cliches come into question, but this game right here can dictate the way the Seahawks season finishes out. Now, obviously, there's no fans, and some may say the playoffs aren't really an advantage this year because the fans are in limited access to the games. However, getting home field advantage, winning the division, breaking a 3-year drought of not winning the division is huge. And sticking it to the freaking Rams at the same time is the way to go about doing it and would give you so much momentum entering in to the playoffs. Now, as we know today is Friday. Saturday morning. I'm doing this very early in the morning. I didn't put together a highlight package, so that's why you just see the generic Seahawks logo and the Rams logo there. So I'm going to get into my analysis of the game. Before I do that, real quick, to get the business out of the way, please like and subscribe. Please tell a friend. Please, join up because I'm trying to grow this as much as I can. Share it if you can. I'd be greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciative of that. And as far as maybe tell a Seahawk friend, and hopefully they like what I bring to the table. This game in particular is huge. Like I said, it's enormous because obviously today the Saints blew out the non-existent Viking defense, scored 52 points. The Saints basically locked up the number one spot, or at least a tie, or I think Green Bay has a tiebreaker. They'd have to win 2 in a row or something like that. They haven't locked up the complete spot yet. Anyway, I think the Seahawks aren't going to catch them. So the point being is that Seattle has to win this division to avoid being on the road again starting the postseason. And with a new playoff format, they won't get a bye. There's no number 2. Likely they would have gotten the number 2 this year because they own the tiebreaker with the Packers if they win out. So this game is huge. Now let's break it down. Like I said, I don't have highlights in this one. This is like the first video I don't have highlights because I started this video real late. It's basically almost 2 in the morning here on the West Coast. I'm kind of tired. Friday night. It's been, the whole holiday thing. But forgive me. You saw in the recap how I broke down the Redskin highlights, the Washington team, whatever you want to call them, the Seahawks getting the victory, and then I also laughed about the Jets beating the Rams. Let's get back to that for a little bit. Sean McVay of the Rams, unfortunately, is 5 out of his last 6 against the Seahawks. And as much as I hate to say that, I've witnessed 2 of the last losses over there in L.A. before they, had the COVID thing. And so the Seahawks haven't fared well at all against the Rams, mostly because the Rams like to do a fast tempo offense, which usually catches the Seahawks for whatever reason off guard at times because they'll come to the line real quick. The Seahawks can't make wholesale substitutions, and the Seahawks defense needs to succeed by making wholesale player changes and not having the same rotations in there and wearing out the defense, because the only guys who usually stay out there every play is usually Quentin Griffin, Stephon Diggs, Bobby Wagner. The rest of the guys usually just rotate in. So those other 3 guys can play or Adams now can play almost every down. But so usually you want to bring in your linebackers, your backup defensive ends, defensive tackles, because guys like Poona Ford can't play every play. Even Dunlap with that bum ankle can't play every play. He's been playing 23 plays instead of 46. So with all that being said, the Rams kind of know how to face the Seahawks. The Seahawks know how to face the Rams. Now, last time they played, it was a 23-16 game. Defensively, the Rams, as of this moment, are ranked number 1 in the league. They have the number 1 against the pass, and they're number 2 against the run. Now, they are also suffering a huge injury, losing Akers, which is, I wouldn't say huge, but it's a big injury because he was their best running back. And without a running game, you saw what happened last week against the lowly Jets. The Jets sat back, played the right kind of defense, could put the right kind of pressure on Goff, because like I've been saying this entire season, like I've said every season that the Rams have had Goff, even in the Super Bowl run, if you put pressure on him he folds under pressure. He makes stupid throws. He has arm or hands like Kirk Cousins. He fumbles a lot. He really fumbles a lot. And the offensive line isn't that good. They've had a couple injuries up front. The receivers. Now, here's the thing about the Rams. The Rams are very, very, very gimmicky. Very gimmicky. You thought the Niners were a gimmicky offense? No, no, no. Rams are Sean McVay, the genius, is Captain Gimmick. He runs all these like little fake plays, trick plays. He doesn't have a set offense. They run the up tempo when they have to. It's all stuff to catch you off balance. However, if the Rams are pulled out of their comfort zone and those gimmick plays aren't working, they're not falling for the misdirections, they're not falling for those wide receiver handoffs, because they like to do that a lot with Robert Woods and other receivers, and they like to they like to hit Higbee, the tight end, a lot. The Rams do have weapons, however, they can be stopped. My only concern is Seattle in that loss that when they played the Rams. Offensively, they were too tentative. They weren't anywhere aggressive. And since then, you've added 4 players that have made a difference to the squad that you didn't have at that particular game over there here in LA. You didn't have Adams. You didn't have Dunlap. The thing is with Metcalf, they never took shots down the field. This is going to change. They didn't have DJ Reed, who's been playing his ass off at corner. He's going to be there. So look for this game and the defense to be tightened. This is the game where we see how good this defense has made the next step. This is where we see if they have made the next step to control an offense like this. Because as much as I hate to say it, the Rams do have a potent offense when it's working. But if you're the lowly Jets at 0-13 and you can stop them, what's our excuse? I understand any given Sunday it could happen, but a 20-point underdog beats a team like the Rams. That shouldn't happen. So what that just tells me is the Rams overlooked them, just like the Seahawks overlooked the Giants, and that shouldn't have happened for either one of those two teams. However, the Seahawks can't take, they're going to have to take some chances in this game. And believe me, both teams will be pumped up. The Rams were super embarrassed. McVay's going to try even more gimmicky plays. Guys like Aaron Donald are going to try to get to Wilson more. What's his name? Jalen Ramsey's already been running his mouth about how he stopped DK. And his quote was, quote, "They brought me in to stop guys like DK." So he's already thinking like, oh, I'm the best there is right now. I'm gonna stop. I stopped him before. I'll stop him again. To me, the Seahawks stopped themselves. In those weeks, Wilson has been very tentative. You see him looking down the field, but he just doesn't trust his receivers. And I've been trying to hammer this down. Trust your goddamn receivers. You got one of the best in the business already, Tyler Lockett, and gonna be one of the best in the business, DK Metcalf. They could have Josh Gordon possibly for this game. The only guy I know that's a super scratch for this game and done for the year is Quentin Dunbar, but we didn't need him anyway. That dude was playing terrible corner. DJ Reed is right there. May have Trey Flowers for this game. The defense will have to be on point to stop the Rams offense, and if they can control the clock, if Seattle can hold onto the ball, run the tandem of Carson and Carlos Hyde, sprinkle in some tight end throws in there in the mix with Hollister and Disley, and then take your shots down the field, man. Get play action passes, go deep, take a shot. Let's see how good Ramsey is, because I'm telling you, in a jump ball, give me Metcalf all day. He's got to trust him once or twice in this game on throws that he thinks are iffy, and if he does that, I'm putting my money on Metcalf to make the play over Ramsey all day. I'm putting my money on Ramsey to commit a pass interference and help the Seahawks out as well. Look, the Rams can make Goff make turnovers. The Jets did it last week. I think that there's no way the Rams are going to be punting first 5 drives. I think they're going to get some touchdowns in this game, but 3. I think Seattle's going to win this game 28-21. I think offensively, Seattle's going to learn from the mistakes, what they did last week against Washington, where they were pretty much in control through 2 quarters, and then into the third quarter they got or 2.5 quarters. Then they got cute, and then right when they were about ready to punch him in the gut after Washington just scored and they were moving the ball downfield, Russ makes an ill-advised throw, and he should have just tucked it again and got the yards. And that was the interception, momentum. We all know what happened. Seattle barely held on. So, again, in this game, it's imperative Seattle gets a pass rush, and their pass rushes look better, but I want to see what they do against the Rams. If they get a pass rush, this will be a long game for the Rams. And also, if Seattle can keep the pedal to the metal and be aggressive. Be aggressive. If they're aggressive, they will win this game straight up. There's no doubt in my mind, but I'm calling a 28-21 Seahawks victory. I think it's going to be butt clinching times down the stretch. The Rams are going to freaking try to tie it or something, and Seattle's defense will come through. I just hate that Seattle continues to put themselves into these one-score games. And I don't think it's going to repeat itself where the Seahawks turn the ball over a bunch of times against the Rams, because a lot of people say, oh, the Seahawks, got beat up by the Rams. Well, you look at that game, they turned the ball over a bunch of times, did a lot of nothing on offense. Their defense was weaker at the time, and they still held the Rams in check. And the Rams got the beneficiary of shortened fields in that game, and they had huge time of possession and still only won by 7 points. So I like the Seahawks' chances, even though there's no 12th man again all year. But I like their chances because their defense has been playing a lot better, and I think the offense will finally learn from the mistakes. And this is the game where you absolutely have to win. This is the division, because even though you could be saying, well, Todd, even if they lose this game, they still can win against the Niners, and the Rams would have to lose to the Cardinals, and the Seahawks could get in. Even though they were swept, they could still win the division in the last game of the season. A, you don't want that to happen because you don't want a scoreboard watch. B, you don't want to get swept by a division opponent. I don't care who they are, especially as the Rams. We all know we hate the 49ers with a passion. We hate them, okay? But these guys, if the Niners are 1A in your hate book, above the Patriots and whoever else you hate as a Seahawks fan, whether you go all the way back to the Denver Broncos, to the Kansas City Chiefs, to the San Diego Chargers, as far as teams that you hated in our division at the time, Oakland Raiders, the Rams to me are 2A or 1A, or no, 1B, I'm sorry. Gee, I messed that up. The Niners are 1A as far as hatred, 1B is the Rams. And I think for me, I mean, if you guys live up in Seattle, it's a little different because it's not as close as Frisco, Santa Clara, whatever you want to call them, and the hatred of their fans and back and forth, because their fans are the worst in football, by the way, the Niners. But the Rams fans are there. They're not as passionate. They're not as faithful as the Niners, but what they are is they're annoying. They come around when they win. They're like cockroaches. They come out from wherever they were scattered or wherever they were hiding. And when they lose, when they have a losing season like last season, it was like freaking their Super Bowl was beating us and that's it. They really didn't say jack down here. So this year they're kind of like bragging, running their mouths before that Jets game, and all of a sudden you could hear crickets. Now no one's running them flags on their cars and all this other crap, because that's what happens. The Rams fan base is the biggest bandwagon fan base there is, and they're annoying. So that's what gets my blood boiling. That's why I freaking hate the Rams. And whenever we play them, I hate how the NFL kisses McVay's ass like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's this, he's that, he's the genius, and it's like, shut up already. I'm tired of that. And Jared Goff to me is a mediocre freaking quarterback. Okay, and I'll admit McVay's a good coach, but he's no genius. He hasn't won no Super Bowl, and in my mind, the Rams got an easy path that year to get to the Super Bowl, and look what happened. They didn't even show up. They got punked, and they only scored 3 points. But I digress. See, I go off on a tangent because I freaking hate the Rams. This is a huge game. Seattle can win this game and just, I think, ruin the Rams season. Just straight up ruin the Rams season. Because then you would get beat back-to-back by the Jets and then your arch rivals. So you get embarrassed 2 weeks in a row. Because, face it, they could say all they want, the Niners are their arch rivals. It's the freaking Seahawks. They know that. They don't like us. And when they were playing at the Coliseum, more than half the stadium was Seahawk fans every year since they've been here. They hate us. And for whatever reason, they've gotten the upper hand on us in very close games. So let's stick it to them. Let's beat them. I'm tired of these jerk-offs. Let's do it. I think we can do it. And look, they're without their running game. They're going to be kind of one-dimensional unless they pull the whole. My only concern in this game, guys, really, my only concern, if we don't get the pass rush and we're not aggressive on offense, but even if we are doing those two things, my only concern is we cannot play a goddamn soft zone. We have to be more aggressive because they will take shots in the middle of the field. They will take the yards that we give them, and they will do something with it. They're not like all these other teams that do stupid little short passes that don't go nowhere. They will find the holes, and they will exploit it. That's what I will give the Rams. They're not stupid when it comes to zone defense. So the Seahawks better tighten up, make those tackles, stop them before they hit the sticks, and let's get this W, guys. Go Hawks.